Meanwhile, tensions are continuing to rise along the Israeli border with Lebanon. Today, the Israeli military said 2 missiles were fired from Lebanon into Israeli territory without causing any damage. For several days, though, now, Hezbollah militants and the Israeli army have exchanged fire, raising fears of a full-blown conflict on that frontier. To tell us a bit more now, we're joined live from Beirut, the Lebanese capital, by Rawad Taha. Rawad, what's the latest today on the Israeli-Lebanese border?
Similar to the situation over the past 2 days, earlier today, we saw that Hezbollah launched an attack from southern Lebanon on one of the Israeli military sites located near the Israeli village of Manara, which is very adjacent to another Lebanese town called Mais El Jabal and Hula. Afterwards, and just like the past few days, right after that, we saw an Israeli retaliation to that attack. Israel fired a number of shells to the outskirts of the villages of both Mais el Jabal and Hula. But this was the only security incident today so far. So unlike the past 2 days where we saw multiple attacks against multiple Israeli sites across northern Israel, today, we only had one attack, at least for now, claimed by Hezbollah, and that the retaliation by Israel was only to that attack. However, overnight and after a long day of exchange of fires over multiple points, Israel has attacked using airstrikes, multiple targets in different parts of southern Lebanon, primarily one target, a Hezbollah base located to the west, and a Hezbollah base located on the eastern front as well. So we've had escalations over the past 2 days in particular, but for today, we only had that one incident near the Israeli town of Manara.
And Rawad, at the same time, there have been pro-Palestinian protests in Beirut this past week. And now some governments are actually advising their nationals not to travel to Lebanon. What's the mood, would you say, in Beirut today?
Everyone is still very worried, despite the fact that for now there has been some sort of a new rules of engagement between Israel and Hezbollah. And we still see that this exchange of fire is only limited to the border itself and the towns that are very close to the border. Everyone is still worried that at any point in time, this could actually lead to a much larger scale spillover, especially if either of the two parties breaks the current rules of engagement, or one mistake from either sides could actually lead to a much bigger spillover. This is why everyone is very worried. In particular, everyone is worried about those recent embassy statements calling for people to actually leave Lebanon. As for the protests that we're seeing right now, the scenes were in front of the U.S. Embassy condemning what they called primarily the Israeli massacre in Gaza, as a lot of people in Lebanon don't believe the Israeli side of the story, that it was an Islamic Jihad missile. So yes, the situation is still very tense. A lot of people are already fleeing the border villages, and a lot of people are, especially foreign nationals, are leaving the country.